here, but I did want to congratulate you with your show at the Lansdowne. It was just amazing. And yeah, how was it being back on stage in front of everyone and performing songs that you released?
Honestly, it's like it's the weirdest thing. I always say to people, like, I'm the most normal when I'm on stage. If you like see me in the street or you're my friend and you're hanging out with me, like, what the heck? Like, you're just a weirdo. Like, I'm a total weirdo unless I'm on stage. It's like the only place I feel like I belong and I'm like normal. It's really weird. So I had a lot of fun.
That's a cool response. That's your central space. That's so cool. And look, I like how you mentioned like you're crazy with your friends or whatever. And something that I've written in the review of Plug-in Futuremag of your show was how much your audience felt like your friends, like you were just having some banter with your friends and that kind of thing. And you said like even some of your fans had come from there was Melbourne, people coming from there, and Newcastle and that kind of thing. Is it really, tell me how like the importance of you kind of building those relationships and that kind of thing to you.
Oh, I just think it's the most incredible thing in the whole world that people travel to see me live. Like, and I feel bad that they do because I need to come to their cities. Like, it's totally. I did this to also, like, I'm just so grateful because it's like, you know, like you never really know as an artist what the music, you know, means to someone or what impact it's going to have. And then when you see like that, you know, these amazing people coming to your shows and they're singing every lyric and you know they've like had to buy accommodation and flights to be there, like it's just the most rewarding and incredible thing ever. Like I actually just, there are no words for how amazing it is, and I'm just so grateful. But like you said, like I feel like everybody who listens to my music, we're a very interesting bunch of people. I think it feels like we've together, like we all like we're in on this little like, you know, we've been through something, you know what I mean? Like, so that's why we're like, yeah, it's really beautiful. I love it so much.
Well, look, count us in on that journey. We're avid listeners, ladies. So that's great.
Thank you. Thank you for the review. I was like so blown away by the review. Thank you so much.
Oh no, of course. Honestly, I don't lie, so I'm blushing. Well, look, as well, like with your singles and that kind of thing, everyone hanging off every word. You do have your next single coming up, which is Dopamine. It's the third single of your 4-track EP, which is so bloody keen. We loved, and we read in the release, you've written, it's kind of like this kind of end of being this people pleaser. Well, this is to us, so look, feel free to tell me if I'm wrong. This people pleaser kind of thing, and just doing your own thing, doing your own work and that kind of thing. Can you run us through what started this movement for you? What made you go, okay, enough is enough? Yeah, enough's enough.
Totally. Yeah, look, I mean, to be honest, I think it was a lot of things. I feel like it was, you know, you kind of get to this particular stage in your life with age, you know, with like, you know, moving and things like that. But what actually really kind of, I guess, like triggered the big movement of just people weeding, I like to call it, is I came off my antidepressants, which I've been on for like 2 years. And I know a lot of people go through this, and, you know, it's something that I don't think people realize how hard it is. Like, it's just this like entire journey of like rewiring your brain and finding yourself, and then like relearning yourself and understanding you and how you work and all of that. And there's so much that comes with it. It would take me so long to go through. But, you know, I think in that process, after going through the worst of it, I kind of came out the other side and realized like a lot of the things and people in my life were not really very good for me. I don't like to use the word like toxic friendships, but like there was that, you know what I mean? There was just a lot of habits and people and things that I was doing that just weren't really making sense for the person that I want to be. So yeah, and so I guess like Dopamine was kind of birthed in around that kind of time, and realizing I don't have to people please, and I don't have to be perfect, and I don't, you know, like there's a lot of my current single Wannabe kind of talks a little bit about this as well, you know, like that whole feeling like we have to be this like perfectly like I don't even know what the word is, but like, oh, pop star, like, oh, you're gonna be amazing, and like everyone's gonna pay you and everyone's gonna love you straight away. It's like, it just doesn't happen like that, you know, like we're all a work in progress, and I think we just have to accept that, you know. Does that make sense?
Oh, absolutely. That's a really eloquent way of putting it. And I find it like a super brave thing to talk about in the sense of, you know, going off antidepressants. But we'd love to know how you sort of, one, went about that, but two, sort of what aspects did you did your people weeding and things like that, but what aspects sort of did you bring into your life? What practices helped you to sort of, you know, find that balance and inner harmony?
Yeah, totally. And I think that's actually a really hard question, because it's not really just one thing. It was just a lot of like mental things that kind of just clicked over. It was almost like, oh, this is different. And you kind of grieve the friendships, and you kind of grieve who you were and all of this. And it's just this big emotional kind of outpour until you just kind of become comfortable with the new you. So it's almost like I didn't do anything in particular, like get a haircut or like I don't know, I guess I moved house. Like maybe that's one physical thing that I did. I got out of the city. I wasn't my best self when I lived in the city. I feel like I really need nature. So that's probably a physical thing. Feels a little bit like hippie and spiritual to be like, I need nature, but we need nature. Like we all do. We really, really do. And I grew up around, you know, the beaches, and, you know, like my parents now live on a farm, and there's like a lot of opportunity to have nature in my life, and just being out of the city has done so much for my mental health. Like, so I think that's like one of the things. But again, just a mental shift. Yeah.
I love that. And that's so interesting. And also, like, you know, for you to have such a strong introspective, you know, power within yourself, and to be able to really, you know, acknowledge, you know, things that, you know, weren't working and things that are working, and how to sort of push forward and progress. I guess, you know, look, I also live with depression. So like I can completely empathize on that. And I'd love to sort of understand what you do to sort of, I guess, make your loved ones around you aware of what's going on, but also, you know, how they can best help you, because it's, you know, so different for each person, and everyone has such a different support system. But, you know, to get people to understand how you are and things of that sort is always, you know, a bit of a interesting minefield. So I'd love to know how you sort of go about navigating that.
Yeah, I think the hardest part about that situation is that everybody reacts differently. So what works for me and my family and my friends may just be a total disaster for you and your network of people. But at the end of the day, I feel like honesty is key, for one. And the second thing is, like, the more you're yourself, the more you're going to attract the right people. So although depression is kind of like this mask that, you know, we wear, I'm not saying you choose to wear it, of course, like we don't choose to have depression, but it is some kind of like veil mask, you know. I feel like the more you're honest with people and you show as much of you as you possibly can, the more they're going to be able to just kind of connect with you. And if you're really honest about how you're feeling, that's easier than hiding away and never telling anybody what's really going on. It frustrates people, and it makes people feel like they're not wanted or loved. And that's something I learned, was the more I isolate myself and the more I don't talk about what I'm going through, the more I'm isolated, right? Like, because people they don't know, they can't understand, they can't help. And I just think if you reach out, if you can find the strength to reach out to anybody, whether it's your mom, your sister, whoever, that's all it takes. The rest will sort itself out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, that's amazing advice. I think, as you said, you know, taking that step and, you know, feeling a little bit, you know, uncomfortable for a little bit, and, you know, reaching out is, you know, always such a great way to, you know, start the journey of, you know, healing and dealing with what's going on in your mind.
Exactly. Yeah. It's really not as complicated as it seems, although it's hard. It's not actually a complicated process, you know, and there's ways to reach out. You don't have to pour your heart out and talk about all the things going on. You just say, hey, like, I'm not doing well, and you know, can you just be around? And that's it.
Yeah. Love that. Would you say that I guess, like, look, dopamine is obviously a direct reflection of, this journey and things of that sort, but how would you say your music writing in general has really sort of shaped your journey as a person?
Well, I think it's funny because dopamine is kind of like another one of these kind of dips into the mental health thing. And the two singles before this were a little bit more lighthearted and fun. And I tend to always kind of fall back into, trying to make my audience feel understood. And I don't know, I really, obviously it's what I know. I've been through, as you guys might know, like anorexia and depression and a bunch of other things. And I just feel like it makes sense for me to talk on things that I know and understand. And I don't want to be unauthentic and try to like talk about something I have no experience in. So, but, I think without these experiences, I wouldn't have these amazing people that come to my shows and like resonate with the music. And I don't know, I think I will always write as truthfully as I possibly can about what I've gone through, and that's never really going to change. So, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if that answers your question, but
no, that was a great response. And I do really like your point with your fans as well, because in the crowd, people were laughing, people were dancing, people were crying with goosebumps. Like it was a roller coaster. For a hungover lady, I was I was putting my paces a bit. It was amazing, and it just shows the importance of being that vulnerable and having those conversations, especially to your outsiders looking in, that raw honesty is so special. So that's awesome. I think, it just makes your fans love you even more, which, that's hard to do. So you're just making us love you that bit. Oh. Looking to the future, you've got some more shows coming, your EP, you've got your fourth song of your EP as well, and that's going to be released. Can you give us any hints of, what we can expect for your final song of the EP? Can I be a bit nosy here?
Yeah, I think this last one is a little bit more fun. It's a little bit on the lighthearted side, but it does kind of go through a bit of a life experience journey with something I haven't written a lot about, which is love. I think Roses with my partner Gabriel Paris was kind of like that one kind of moment where I was like, ooh, love, but this one is like a little bit more on the sexy side of love, not the soppy side. But yeah, it's kind of, I wanted to kind of just like, I wanted this EP to be literally a bit of everything. It wasn't just one thing. It doesn't really have a theme. And I always thought that when I put out an EP, it was going to be very like, what's the word? What's the word? Like has like a running theme. I can't even, words.
Like a through kind of theme.
Words escape me. But anyway, and it doesn't. And I kind of love that. It's just a little bit like, it's a bunch of life experience things, it's a bunch of statements, and it's just a roller coaster of emotions. And I think I've decided on the name Dopamine for the EP because it kind of feels like it's just a bunch of like dopamine hits.
I love that. Ooh. So excited. So exciting. Can't wait. And then you also are going to announce some shows potentially coming up. When can we expect to hear a little more about that?
Well, I'm currently in the planning stages. So, I mean, if you've been following me for a while, you know that I'm terrible at keeping secrets, and I generally say, oh, I should. It's so hard, but I probably need a couple more weeks to kind of, properly put it together. I'm just really hoping to get to Melbourne and Brisbane and a few other places as well. It's just the planning stages. I think COVID has made things a little bit difficult. A lot more expensive. So as an independent artist, I'm just trying to work that out, but keep an eye out. I promise it'll be here soon.
We can't wait. Well, look, that was all our questions on our end, and thank you so much for your time and your vulnerability and just bringing your energy to this discussion.